Welcome to another episode of Midnight's Edge After Dark. We are coming to you live on tape from multiple locations, from Shabby Road Studios, from Tom's Cheddar Cheesehead Studios, and from Jake from Superstar Nature Boy Ric Flair Memorial Studios. There is one caveat: Jake has to say "woo" every 5 minutes, though. It's in his contract now. Jake, how you doing, buddy?
Woo!
There you go. Okay, we're good for at least another 5 minutes. Tom, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, and of course, everybody might remember Jake from one of our earlier podcasts when we were still the Film Buffet podcast, yeah, on the Film Buff channel. But yeah, he also did a couple videos with you, correct, Rob?
That is correct. If you haven't checked it out, check out our Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice round. It's not really a round table. There's only two of us, so.
Yeah.
It's kind of a review.
Yeah. A review, breakdown, moratorium, post.
I guess it can be a round table, but like by definition, the smallest one possible.
Yes. It's like by state law, a riot has to have 3 people.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. So we'll post that down below, so if you guys want to check that out, that's on Rob's Robot Shlomo YouTube channel.
Yeah. So this is the podcast for week ending or week middle of August 17th, 2017. We are sorry there is no live show this week. We are still having technical difficulties, which usually means that one of us is too poor to pay for internet. So,
well, no, yeah. Well, actually, and then we also had lost our entire live show from the other night. We apologize. So for those who got lucky enough to hear that, you may hear some repeat in the news, but we'll try and keep that stuff to a minimum. So
okay, yeah. So we have a multitude of news. We have the roundup for you, and we're going to kick it off with our main news segment. This is what's going on in the world of entertainment. Tom, why don't you start us off?
Well, this is something that I know you were really, really excited about, Rob. Daniel Craig is back for Bond 25, and this was something that everybody was kind of going back and forth about. Is it going to be a woman Bond? Or are they going to start doing something like that? A lot of people wanted Idris Elba. Now we've got Daniel Craig, who's coming back for at least one more film. I know you're real excited about that, so why don't you take it away, Rob?
Yeah, I was watching, he broke the news on Colbert 2 nights ago, and I was lying in bed, and I was half asleep. And as soon as I heard, he says, "Are you coming back to play James Bond?" And he said, "Yes." I literally leapt out of bed and said, "Woohoo! Yeah!" So Daniel Craig is other than Sean Connery, he's my favorite Bond.
I was personally hoping for Peter Dinklage in blackface, but that's just me.
Midnight's Edge does not condone Peter Dinklage in blackface.
It's about the time we had a little person as James Bond. I mean, we had a little person as a Bond villain, as a henchman, with Hervé Villechaize and the Man with the Golden Gun. So, but there's no script for it yet. There's no title, but we do have a release date of November 8th, 2019. So mark your calendar. And for all everybody hoping for a woman Bond, for something stupid, all I have to say is tough titties. So no, but I don't want to sound like a dick, but I know a lot of people were hoping Idris Elba was going to play. Oh, Idris Elba should be Bond, and the big problem I have with that is all the people who were saying, oh, Idris Elba should be the next Bond. Where do I vote? It's not a fucking all-star ballot. You don't get to pencil in your favorites and then send it.
It's not like an election, yeah.
Yeah. So, the other thing about this too is Daniel Craig's on for one more. I gotta think though, and like I said, I'm sorry to all his fans, but I gotta think that the door is permanently closed on Idris Elba ever playing Bond. He's gonna be 50 years old by the time the part comes up again, and I don't think he wants the part. And with the Dark Tower tanking, he can't carry a franchise really. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Jake, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Jake, go ahead.
So I think Idris Elba is kind of everyone's go-to for everything. So, of course, Idris Elba can't play Bond because he's going to be too busy, obviously, playing Batman, Miles Morales, and Jesus in those movies. Everyone wants Idris Elba for everything. He's just kind of the go-to name. He's not going to do any of that stuff. Do I think he could? Like, does he have the acting chops to pull it off? Yes, I'm just kind of tired of hearing him as the insert name here for whatever's going on.
What about Green Lantern? Idris Elba would make a great Green Lantern. What about that?
That's exactly what it's like. Anytime any part comes up, oh, Idris Elba.
Oh, Sherlock Holmes. Idris Elba would make a great Sherlock Holmes. Yeah.
Did you hear they're doing an Amelia Earhart movie? Should be Idris Elba.
Idris Elba is Amelia Earhart, yeah. Oh, Idris Elba as Betsy.
Plane.
He's playing the plane, yes. Idris Elba as in the Paul Revere story. He's going to be the horse this time.
Idris Elba is kind of like the next Sam Worthington or Jai Courtney. He's the guy that everybody's trying to make happen in Hollywood, but I think sooner or later he's going to realize he's just better in those, you know, supporting roles and stuff like that, like Thor and whatnot. I don't know. That's just me. I mean, I like him as an actor. He's fine, and I get where you guys are coming from. It's just, I even seen a story the other day. It's like, oh, he's treated, Hollywood has treated Idris Elba wrong or done him, what did it say, done him wrong?
Yeah,
anyway.
Hollywood's done him wrong. Yeah.
Point is, no, Hollywood hasn't done Idris Elba wrong. Idris Elba's choices and his fucking manager have done him wrong.
That's the other thing too. Like, he's talked about how much he's hated playing Heimdall in Thor, and he talks about what a pain in the ass it is to do all the stunts, and how he gets more fulfillment from, you know, when that movie where he was Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, Idris Elba doesn't exactly have Denzel Washington's agent, does he?
He's been in how many different movies, and they've tried to make him a star how many times now? And granted, sure, Dark Tower's a shitty movie. What are you gonna do? You know, it's not his fault per se, but it is his fault for picking it. He read the script.
He's got another stint as Luther coming back for the BBC show. So
right, and that was his real claim to fame anyway.
Yeah, the toughest cop in London that drives a Volvo. Yeah, but anyway, like I said, I'm a huge Bond fan. So
yeah.
And the people who, like I said, you know, the people who keep saying they should stop making Bond movies, you know, why would they stop? You know, it's $1 billion. This is as big as the franchise has ever been now. I mean, if it could survive Moonraker in the 70s, it could survive Quantum of Solace. So. So anyways, that's good news. So yeah, we don't want to turn this into the bash Idris Elba hour. So
no, I like Idris Elba.
Yeah, we all like him, but like I said, he hasn't made the best choices. So, okay, before Jake has to go, he's contractually obligated to go woo again. Let's move on to our next topic.
Now, this one's near and dear to Jake and Rob's heart, I'm sure. Been reported a few places that the Zack Snyder cut of the film was completely unwatchable. At the same time, Forbes is claiming that Justice League is a low risk for WB, and that I don't understand how that can be, considering it's got a huge budget, and I think they're relying way too much on the goodwill of Wonder Woman. So what do you guys think of that? This is something I really wanted to hear from your guys' point of view, considering I loved your review on BBS.
So knowing, you know, listening to that review, you know, not the biggest DC movies fan, but my first thing is I'm kind of wondering who is saying that movie is unwatchable. Is this critics saying that movie is unwatchable? Is this people who have been, you know, privileged to see sneak previews of it? I think that's kind of the go-to is, you know, let's shit on these movies.
As far as I know, nobody in the public has actually seen the movie yet. I mean, they may have ran a public test screening or two back in the day that we aren't totally privy to. Basically, I think Warner Brothers has a buttload of leaks is what's going on.
I don't know. I'm as much as I've personally shit on a lot of these movies, I have given every single one of them the benefit of the doubt. I would like to do that with Justice League. It's not surprising hearing that it's unwatchable, but no, I'm holding the point of hesitation until I.
Right. Well, now they're trying to say that this was before Joss Whedon's cut, of course. So, I mean, but then again, I think that we've also heard rumors that it's like a Frankenstein cut at this point too, is the latest rumor. But
yeah, I mean that's pretty much how Suicide Squad was, and that didn't turn out great either. I'd actually be inclined to agree with Forbes of this movie. I know it's going to be a huge budget, but at the same time, it's a superhero movie, which, I mean, even bad superhero movies are, aside from Green Lantern, are pretty much knocking it out of the park. I mean, these are household names in there. It's Superman, it's Batman. Wonder Woman did well. Wonder Woman's coming back. I'm inclined to agree. I think this is a pretty low risk.
But Superman died.
But then came back like right at the end. They didn't even let his corpse get hit.
I know, right?
They decided to shake some rocks and let you know. Which I hate that so much. Way to just completely undo any sort of drama you create.
Death of Superman should warrant its own film on its own. It should have been like Man of Steel 2 or something like that, leading into, you know, either Justice League or Justice League 2, something like that. I don't know. That's just my feeling on it, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm completely in agreement.
I'm not surprised that the Zack Snyder cut is unwatchable because Batman vs Superman was nearly unwatchable.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was like a slow motion train wreck, and you can imagine picturing what primitive man looked like when he first saw like a solar eclipse and the sun was disappeared. And that was my reaction to Batman versus Superman. You're like, my God, I cannot believe what I'm watching. There's no way it should be this bad, but yet it was.
And not to turn this into a big BVS bashing session, but I think what it goes to show is I think a lot of people are scared that this is what's going to happen with Justice League, especially if however much of Zack Snyder's version they are using and how much is being reshot, because that's the other thing that I wanted to get to is as far as the Forbes article is, I don't know if they're taking into account all those reshoots that have been taking place in the last few months, and the fact that the other big rumor is that they're actually redoing the entire ending, along with the whole big rumor that kind of feeds into our next part after this about this possibly being Ben Affleck's last Batman film, and they're not leaving it open for Justice League 2 and they're finishing it up so it's its own movie. What do you think of that, Rob? And then you can add to that too, Jake.
I think Casey Affleck I think he really doesn't know, or if he does, he kind of doesn't want to let the cat. Well, he let the cat out of the bag, so Casey Affleck said, "Oh well, he's not doing Batman, I don't think," which to me is not really.
Well, let's throw the video up so everybody knows what you're talking about, and then we'll get back to that. So
now there's a rumor. Now I'm sure you don't like being asked about your brother, but there's a rumor that he is not going to be in the standalone Batman movie. I thought he was a tremendous Batman. I don't know if you have any insight on that.
I thought he was an okay Batman. As far as he was great. He was great. He's a hero, so he had something to channel and work with there. But he's not going to do that movie, I don't think.
Breaking news.
You've
broken.
Is that breaking news? I was just kind of making that up.
I will take it. I heard it from Casey Affleck. I'm going to tweet that out, and I heard it here first. So that is sad news. I don't know if I'm going to be able to recover, but okay, fine. I thought he was very good. Would you like to maybe take his place?
I don't think so.
To me, it's the same answer that guy had said. Oh yeah, believe me, Peter Parker is not going to be white in the next movie. Yeah, it turned out that guy was full of shit, and I could very well be that Casey Affleck is full of shit too. I'm like, so
the difference here though is this is Ben Affleck's brother, and I mean, in the video in question, it's like, okay, he's like, oh, it's too bad he's not doing that, and then all of a sudden you just kind of see his wheels working real quick, and then he's like, oh, I was just kidding, I made that up. I honestly think he slipped. That's my opinion on it, but like I said to you when we were talking about it before the show, I was like, I may be projecting that onto him, but we're so used to hearing this anymore than his brother, because half time it doesn't even seem like his brother knows what he's doing. So what do you think about all this, Jake?
I hope so badly that Ben's not doing. I hated the Ben Affleck casting from the beginning. I thought he was shit as Daredevil. I thought it was going to kind of carry over. I don't know what he actually brings to the table of being Batman. It's a
square chin.
Yeah, it's a suit modeled after another guy's body. It's a voice changer. Like, you could stick anybody in that. CGI his
well, for all those
there,
reasons
no
are
one
why
would know the
I'm
difference.
thinking he might stick around, because what has he actually got to really do besides live action scenes? Because we know what, like 90% of the shit that's in Suicide Squad was actually a stuntman, other than the speaking part or whatever.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I thought it was just a bad casting from the beginning. Especially, I don't know how true this is, but I've read articles that said, Christian Bale actually wanted to keep going and keep doing these. And I know some people, I think he's been the best Batman, Bale. I would much rather rape voice Batman come back than another another Ben Affleck.
I actually liked Affleck as Batman, so I mean, again, we're in disagreement there. I just didn't like the movie and everything it did with a lot of the characters. But I don't know, Rob, I can't remember if you said you really cared for Affleck as Batman or not.
I liked him as Bruce Wayne. I wasn't crazy about him as Batman, which is kind of a weird way to look at it. I honestly, I don't know. This, the suit looks absolutely ridiculous on film. It really does. And can we please stop coming back to The Dark Knight Returns as the inspiration for all of this? I mean, jeez, come on.
See, I'm kind of the opposite. Well, not the opposite, but similar but different. I liked the costume, but I was more pissed off. I was like, if you're gonna do the Dark Knight Returns version of Batman, then fucking do it. Don't pussyfoot around it. And that's what they kind of did. And that's why I think
They did.
yeah, and it was like, okay, if you're going to go that length, then do it. Look at what happened with Logan. Perfect example. You know, yeah, sure, that wasn't exactly like the comic book, but the character was still the same. The arcs were still the same. The messages were still the same, even though they were done in a different way. And you could have done that here with BBS, but you just kind of, like I said, you just pussyfooted around it. And there's some things you did, like, you know, made Batman more aggressive or whatever, but at the same time, he didn't seem to have the same sentimentalities he did in Dark Knight Returns, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
My question is, who could possibly replace Ben Affleck now? I mean, I don't know of any. You hear the name Armie Hammer. You hear the name
wearing hockey pads.
Jake Bentley. Yes, Jake Bentley's going to replace.
Perfect casting.
Yeah.
John Hamm's one name that's been bandied around.
Yeah.
What's his face who plays Dredd? Jesus Christ, I always forget his name. Carl Urban. Carl Urban's been bandied around. He'd be a good choice, I think. I don't know. There's quite a few names that have come up, but yeah.
I will throw in the name Peter Dinklage in blackface.
Oh Lord. Yes. Oh Lord. Okay, serious. No, let's not say seriously. Let's keep going.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're way off the rails. But anyway, I'm so like sick and tired of going back and forth on this thing with Ben Affleck, to where we're not gonna know until at least after Justice League comes out. I think our video from a few weeks back, I'm sure I'll have to post it in there with it. We think that they're just kind of keeping this to themselves until after Justice League comes out. We probably won't hear about it till like January, February. You know,
yeah, and
then they'll finally say, yeah, Ben Affleck's backing out, because there's probably a definitive ending. I'm like, the Batman sacrifices himself, I'm thinking, or something like that. Who knows? But point being, and just to kind of move this along, the only other thing about the Forbes article that I really kind of was like, well, I don't know, besides the reshoots, is that Thor comes out 2 weeks just before that, and Thor's been tracking a lot better on social media and the trailer reactions and everything else. And
I am definitely looking forward to Thor Ragnarok more than Justice League. And like Jake and I said, we want these movies to be good. We do not want to hate on a DC movie, but so far there has been just very little to like.
Although in complete fairness, hating on them and then being terrible makes for great podcasts.
It does. Yes, it does.
Much easier ones to come up
with. Speaking of bashing, and until we want to segue, have we said as much as we can about the...
Might as well, yeah.
Woo! Woo! Yes, and there's our contractually obligated woo. The woo becoming between segments. That's how we know.
That was the bat woo.
It was a bat woo, yes.
So anyway, we're gonna introduce a new segment, and until we
got the Captain's Log. Stardate
8/17.2014, or however they do it now. But until we come up with a better name, it's the Captain's Log. Damn it! So we're gonna be presenting some Star Trek news, and if this becomes a regular bit, since we have a lot of people who are Star Trek fans in the audience, this probably will become a regular bit. But
well, and considering all the stuff they keep announcing,
oh yeah, it's just,
we'll get into that.
It's just one thing after another. So anyway, it was recently reported Jason Isaacs, who's playing Captain Lorca, he said that they're going to be essentially throwing out the legacy of both William Shatner and Patrick Stewart, and he looks forward to having arguments with fans, and says that, well, it doesn't matter if we're making all these changes, because they're going to watch it anyway.
It sounds like a great way to address your fan base.
Yeah, it works so well for Fantastic Four, didn't it?
And Ghostbusters.
And what else?
Shut up, we'll tell you what to like. Yeah, that's a great way to attract an audience.
And then he kind of tried to backtrack on that, didn't he not, Rob?
Yeah, he says, oh, well, we're reinventing storytelling. And he says, we're still being respectful in the way into the canon, but we're reinventing storytelling. I'm like, too late. Too late. You've already said it. It's out there now.
Seems very reminiscent of something that's kind of going on in the headlines right now in other places, but we're not going to get into that. But anyway, yeah, too little too late. I think he kind of said everything he needed to say the first time out. That's my opinion, basically, because he could give a fuck less, it sounds like to me. Maybe he knows something we don't know, and he's just basically not caring at this point. I don't know. Considering all the stuff we kind of report as far as the leaks and rumors that we get around here, even though some people think we're full of shit, but yeah.
Yeah. But actually, they had another bit of Star Wars news that it just broke within the last hour. Discovery is going to be getting a TV MA rating. It's bad enough that they're asking you to pay to watch it, and it's bad enough it looks like complete shit. But it's also getting a TV MA rating, which means that it's probably not really. It's going to be the TV version of
not the family friendly.
Yeah, not the optimistic, family friendly kind of boldly going where no man has gone before Star Trek that so many fans really love. It's going to be the dark and gritty Zack Snyder version of Star Trek. So
oh balls, Martha.
Just Game of Thrones meshed with. Star Trek has dragons and boobs for some reason. Don't question it. Peter Dinklage in blackface.
Sonequa Martin Green, she was a little upset about all the naysayers, unlike Jason Isaacs, who's just basically like, fuck you. There was other stuff talked about as far as spin-offs already, and even second season talk. Tell us about that, Rob.
Yeah, Sonequa Martin Green said she's still upset about the naysayers, saying, oh, well, and she's still playing the whole thing, much kind of like what Ghostbusters did last year. If everybody remembers that, we got a lot of mileage out of that, and we're probably going to get a lot of mileage out of this one, too. Right. That, oh, well, you don't understand the diversity, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Star Trek fans don't have a problem with diversity.
Right.
They have a problem with bad storytelling. They have a bad problem with guys with a crew of in Starfleet dressing as if they're in a off-Broadway version of the Music Man. So 76 Trump.
Right. And this is kind of a hot button issue right now with everything going on, but it's true of all the fan groups, Star Trek fans have never really cared about diversity because diversity's always been a main part of the show since the very beginning. And basically what most fans are upset about is how they're just grandstanding and virtue signaling about all this, and really what it is just they're trying to make it a big deal when it shouldn't be.
It's a way to score easy points is what it is.
Right.
It's a very low-hanging fruit. But like we said, we're getting way ahead of ourselves with all the talks of spin-offs and the second season. So then they were saying the second season might focus on the Klingon War. I'm like, hey, let's see if people actually want to watch the first season before we get ahead of ourselves. It really does seem like they're Fantastic Fouring this about how, oh yeah, we got all this stuff lined up. And I'm like, guys, you haven't even gone on the air. Nobody's even watched this yet. So
like I think you and I were saying before, it's more like damage control, and CBS is pushing this. Oh, everything's fine, everything's dandy. We're even looking at a second season and all this other stuff and spin-offs.
Yeah, like I said, they're really trying to get way ahead of themselves. They're really trying to do a lot on damage control because somebody apparently at CBS has seen Midnight's Edge and they're saying, hey guys, check this out. I told you everything is fine. No, they're saying no, everything is fine. I told you everything is fine.
So Jake, what do you think about all that?
Not the biggest Star Trek fan. Star Trek, while I've going back to kind of like the James Bond, while I've watched most of the James Bond movies, I kind of fall where you do in Star Trek. I've seen the last ones. I was kind of, I don't know. I think I was a little young during the heyday of Star Trek. Not really into some of the older stuff, but I have liked the newer movies. But honestly, this is a show I'm probably gonna skip.
But you're the guy though that they're trying to get though. That's the thing. They're trying to reel in the fans who may have seen the J.J. Abrams movies and may not like the original series the best, and they figure, well, we're going to try to reel in the non-fan and then try to work on the fans of the original.
Oh yeah, that's a shit plan.
Yeah, it is a shit plan.
Well, that's what we've been saying from the start, of course, but yeah.
And we're probably going to do like a review show after the first one airs because it's going to air on September 24th, which is a Sunday.
Fuck it, I'll watch it.
For this episode, we are closing the book on the Captain's Log right now. So we will reopen the Captain's Log at a later date.
It's being flushed now.
Woo! And there's our contractually woo. Transitioning?
Oh, shit. So Star Wars. There was some big Star Wars news just before we started working on the show here. There's going to be an Obi Wan Kenobi spinoff with Ewan McGregor. That'll be the next anthology film set for May of 2018. Billy Elliot, director Stephen Daldry is in talks, I mean.
Because when I think Star Wars, I think Billy Elliot.
Right, yeah. There'll be a ton of dance numbers in this one. Are they cutting it too close, or are they farther along than we knew? What do you guys think on that?
I actually before kind of getting the notes about what we were talking about here, I actually wasn't aware that they were actually pulling the director from Billy Elliot, and that's kind of concerning for me. And it may not be fair to think that, but I'm just going to imagine the work that's being, mentioned here, and now I'm just, like Rob was alluding to, I'm just imagining everyone doing Irish step dancing in Star Wars now, and I'm completely turned off.
I keep thinking of the scene from The Dictator. Did you get a chance to see Billy Elliot? How great was that show? So,
if not, I think maybe it's just going to be a very introverted drama, perhaps. I don't know.
It's just like, all right, the next Rocky movie, it's going to be directed by the guy who did What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Obi Wan. Oh shit! It's that Luke kid again. And there's going to be that obligatory young Luke cameo, because Luke talks like he knows who this old crazy coot Ben Kenobi is. So they've had a run in a time or two, because he's like stalking him and shit, I'm sure.
He's like messing up his lawn.
They live on Tatooine. There's no grass.
He's got a little slingshot in his back pocket, got a lightsaber.
Oh Lord. Oh boy.
Oh balls. Here we go again. So we're assuming that obviously this is all taking place in the desert.
And just like my favorite book, Dune, right?
Right, and not only that, the so-called rumored Khan spin-off that's supposed to be coming out, which isn't confirmed, but Myers has said that he cannot confirm that, or cannot possibly confirm that, with cannot spelled Khannoot. So anyway,
let me just ask this question to both of you. What is it with science fiction that it either takes place in either like when they want to either a desert or like in the forest somewhere? Because we see
I think
that,
what you're asking is, why is every planet like to the extreme? It's always one, or it's like an
Yes.
ice planet like Hoth, or a forest planet or moon like Endor, and then so on. So yeah.
There's no like
because it's easy.
Was it? There's never. Yeah, you never see Obi Wan Kenobi pull up to a strip mall somewhere on Coruscant.
Luke, we must stop Vader, but first, Bed Bath and Beyond.
Oh, I hate traveling to the valley.
Oh boy. Let's stop
There's a Starbucks on every corner here in Tatooine.
Yeah, you expect to see like a Best Buy in the middle of Mos Eisley or something,
I much prefer Circuit City.
Oh boy, but Billy, looking forward to that big Stormtrooper dance number.
Yeah. Is it just because he's a yes man? Do you guys think? Because what has he done really besides the movie Billy Elliot? Let's take a look here. I didn't even think to look.
Well, we see how that that directorial decision has worked out for Han Solo. So
right, and that's what I was kind of getting to. Is this a safe? Is this a safe pick? Because like they're like, okay, this is a guy we can push around, and yeah,
it'll be a lot more agreeable.
Exactly, yeah. Let's see here. What has he done? He has done Billy Elliot, incredibly loud, or extremely loud and incredibly close. The Hours, The Reader. So a lot of Oscar bait and introverted type stuff outside of Billy Elliot, I guess. I don't know.
So we're gonna see a depressed, brooding Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, I guess he's stuck in the fucking desert and all his friends are dead, so I'm sure he's going to be depressed, and Yoda don't even want to talk to him. What was this shit with Yoda taking? He's like, I don't want to hang out with you. I'm going to go in the middle of the The swamp over there. You go as far away as possible. Yes. You know, it's like.
I think that turned into Cookie Monster halfway through.
A little
Brilliant.
cookies. Or Grover.
Oh, harm!
Now I need to see the Obi Wan Kenobi Muppets movies. I noticed your lights.
Strange creatures.
So yeah. So.
Hey, Hall. How you doing, Obi Wan Kenobi? Obi Wan.
Oh boy.
Anyway, no.
So anyway,
moving on.
I haven't got much more to add to this.
I just think here we go again. Here we fucking go again. This is Han Solo waiting to happen all over. Why? Because if this was gonna be what their plan was, they should have done this from the start. I know I keep saying this about a lot of things, but it's like, why? Why didn't you do this from? This is what fans wanted. Besides Old Republic was an Obi-Wan movie. Why did you start with Han Solo when nobody cares to see that movie? That's the consensus I'm getting. Either nobody gives a shit or they're pissed off because they're afraid they're going to screw with whatever established history is in the EU still left, you know? So I don't know.
I think it's funny. I was watching a video with Dan Harmon where he was talking about Rick and Morty, and he made a point that I think is just spot on and should be how they approach the Han Solo movie. Is there's no way to make a character less interesting by explaining their origin.
Right, and that rings true to what sounds like we keep saying here on the show, is that, you know, as soon as you keep doing this kind of shit, you're boxing yourself in, you're making your universe smaller. I mean, Rogue One made sense because it wasn't so attached to the other characters. Yeah, you had your cameos, but that's what I said before too, is that's what these movies should be about, is other characters we don't know anything about, so you're more free to go where you want to with the story a little bit, even though you may have some constraints, and you can have cameos, but you're not tying yourself down to an already set up canon that, you know, like, that's just it. How long are we going to see? Where exactly in the time period is Han Solo going to take place? When in the time period is this Obi-Wan Kenobi movie going to take place? Like I said, are we going to end up seeing a young Luke Skywalker, a la like we've seen a young Leia or something stupid like that? In all seriousness, not in our kidding. I mean, that's very possible because we know it is. You know, I mean, are they going to screw the pooch on this one just as bad as it seems like they're screwing the pooch with Han Solo? Or, I mean, I'm a little scared on the Han Solo front, not so much on the Obi-Wan Kenobi front, but I'm just like, okay, this is just more of the boxing yourself in. Do something different for a while first, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Boba Fett starring Peter Dinklage. So, okay.
No regular face because he wears a mask. But at the end, they'll take off his mask and he'll be in blackface.
Okay. Well, I haven't got anything else to add to that, so it's time to transition to the next segment.
Woo!
Here we go.
Which is the roundup.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the roundup.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for the roundup. These are stories that really we don't have a whole lot on, and we can just tackle really quickly for the sake of brevity and time. So anyway, let's start with the roundup. Okay, actually this just broke a few minutes before we started recording. The Captain Marvel movie, according to screenwriter Nicole Perlman, is not getting a page 1 rewrite. So apparently they're either really happy with the script they have or they really don't care.
Little from column A, little from column B.
Well, anyway, moving on. HBO was hacked. This time the target was Curb Your Enthusiasm. HBO said they're not going to negotiate with hackers. Yeah, script rumors. Ron Perlman says hell no to a cameo in the rebooted Hellboy.
Yes. And I'm sure there's a reason. The obvious reason for that is he doesn't want to piss off his fans. He's got a very loyal fan base, and he knows how they feel about this whole incident. They wanted Hellboy 3, not a reboot. And then, yeah, the other rumor is that there's a script done already, and it's dark and R-rated, and yeah, I'm not interested.
Neither am I.
Do we have a star for this one?
Yes, Stranger Things star.
That guy, Peter Dinklage.
All right, cool. Peter Dinklage.
David Harbour is actually going to be Hellboy. That's his name.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, next story. Moving on. Riz Ahmed is being cast in the Venom movie. If you don't recognize him, he's that guy who was in Rogue One. And he was the guy that he was in prison, and they were. He was in the guy in prison. They rescued, and everybody dies. So.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
But we don't know what part he's going to be playing in Venom. So a lot of people think he's going to be Carnage, but it's Venom. Who
He's
cares?
playing Aunt May.
He's playing She-Venom.
No, that's Amy
Yes.
Pascal. We already knew that.
Netflix announces a, quote, supernatural teen romance series, not to be confused with the CW program Supernatural. Sounds like a Twilight ripoff. Nobody cares.
I want both love interests to be played by Gary Busey.
Moving on, Robert Kirkman, Gale Ann Hurd. That's what you care about that story. Robert Kirkman, Gale Ann Hurd, Glenn Mazzara, and David Alpert follow Frank Darabont ensuing over the blockbuster zombie series Walking Dead. Potential damages could reach $1 billion. So, anyway, not much more for me to add to that. So, I don't know. Are you a fan of Walking Dead, Jake?
No, I mean, not opposed to it. Just never got into it.
Yeah, you know what really killed The Walking Dead for me? My interest is that I tried watching. I said, okay, let me give this a chance. And so they're like coming up to an encampment, and somebody pulls up to the camp in a brand new Hyundai Tucson. I'm like, yeah, good to see that Hyundai still getting deliveries at the dealerships during the zombie apocalypse.
Well, zombies are making them.
I love the little things that turn you off.
They're outsourcing it to zombies, so that's how they're getting it done. Yeah.
All right. Avengers news. Nick Fury not appearing in Avengers 3, 4, or Black Panther.
Dun, dun, dun.
Nah, I don't think that's a big deal.
Yeah, I think they've kind of finished his arc out a little bit, but then I heard, isn't Captain Marvel supposed to be a prequel anyway, and we're supposed to be getting a younger version of Nick Fury in that?
Yeah, well, they're still not clear. They being whoever
Right.
reported this, still not clear if Samuel L. Jackson has signed for Captain Marvel.
Uh-oh.
So we have no confirmation, people.
We can always just move to David Hasselhoff. as Nick
Oh,
Fury.
that's a deep cut. Most people don't even probably remember that movie.
Okay, ABC has ordered a pilot for a live-action version of The Jetsons. Robert Zemeckis is executive
Are there
producer.
going to be any black people in this one?
Peter Dinklage.
And just in blackface, right?
Yeah, yes. He's going to be playing Elroy Jetson.
His boy Elroy?
Yes. Jake, do you a fan of The Jetsons?
I'm going to give this 5 episodes before it's canceled. Tops.
Oh, I think it's going to be like 2. Maybe 3.
I love the Jetsons. I love the Jetsons, but we don't need a live-action version of the Jetsons.
Their
We really
time is
don't.
past.
Who's gonna
yeah.
play? I mean, an animated version of the Jetsons would work again.
Well, the last animated movie they did like 20 years ago, I don't think did anything.
Yeah,
The one
you're
with
right.
Tiffany?
Yeah, and yeah. And I'm just really pissed off that all the stuff that the Jetsons said we were gonna have right now, none of it has come
Right.
true.
Well, there's treadmills.
Treadmills, but where's my flying car?
Talking dogs.
Talking dogs, robot maids.
Well, there's
Skypad-
Roombas. That's a
Kinda.
robot maid, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my Skypad apartment? Jeez.
Yeah, right?
So anyway, the last story in the roundup is Gremlins 3. Apparently, Chris Columbus says a script for the third movie takes the film back to a more of a dark comedy horror arena than of the first film. The movie asks the question if Gizmo should even exist.
Ooh, and this is one I kind of like because I'm a huge Gremlins fan. This is the first time we've heard of Chris Columbus being involved. Before this, it's always been Joe Dante giving us news. And the bigger part of this news is that it is going to be a Gremlins 3. And I do kind of like the aspect of them kind of, well, should we even continue to let Gizmo live considering he's a hazard? That's a good question. So what do you guys think of that?
I'm always skeptical of let's do it again, but make it darker and grittier.
Well, and if everybody remembers, Gremlins 2 kind of was a parody of the first film, and Instead of just doing the standard sequel, it took it to that next level and making fun of the first movie at the same time. So this time they're taking it back, and not only that, the other part of the story was that they're going to be using mostly puppets, so it's not going to be too much CGI.
Okay, well that's kind of good. Yeah, I think I said like before that the great thing about a puppet, even though it's like felt or just like rubber, it's an actual thing that occupies the physical space.
The Gremlins look great in the first two films for the time.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, so and yeah, they had personality. You know, they did. You know, you could put them. You had different ones. I mean, had one of them was on the bar drinking beer out of the tap. That was
well.
Cool.
And Joe Dante said they got funnier the more clothes and stuff you put on them. So yeah, they would play around and just do all kinds of stuff. And then in the second film, they actually had it to where they were drinking the chemicals and stuff in the lab and actually transforming into different things. So, I'm sure they're just going to take it back to more serious kind of. It'll be kind of a reboot, I bet.
You know what? If we're going to reboot it, let's go all the way. Forget puppets, forget CGI. All the Gremlins are fidget spinners now.
That would bring the kids in, I bet.
The millennial version of Gremlins. I actually saw Ghostbusters and Gremlins in the same night.
Wow. Well, they came out the same weekend, so.
Yeah, we did the whole. Remember back before they installed security cameras in theaters, we did the whole switch in theaters.
I did that after they installed security.
I think you're okay on the statute of limitations on that, so yeah.
We don't. Midnight's Edge doesn't advocate switching theaters.
You're gonna get a knock at the door. Rob, we'd like to talk to you about switching theaters back in June 6th of 1984.
1, I did it all the time. 2, I'm at Rob's house in case anyone's listening.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
And then the FBI is going to be right behind them. So, what's this you were talking about? The hacking of HBO?
Jake, you and I and Dave Sheehan are probably going to be. We're going to be doing the Too Late for Summer movie spectacular at some point. So.
Love it. Let's do it.
Yes, yes. Stay tuned to my my YouTube channel for that one. So the Too Late, it's we always have fun, even though last year we really didn't see a whole lot of movies. As long as somebody's seen something. So, and we will not be ripping on Valerian again. So.
Well, just whatever we watch, we'll complain about how much it sucks because that's good podcasting.
That is good podcasting. Yeah, so we'll save your impressions of Wonder Woman. But I gotta say, back to Rick and Morty, I gotta say that just when you think it couldn't get any weirder, it does, and that's what makes Rick and Morty great. Did you see this past week's episode?
The past week's was Pickle Rick, wasn't it?
No, The Vindicators.
That was on already?
Yeah, that was on. Yeah.
All right, I need to go. I'm probably gonna go watch it right now then.
Okay. So, Jake's going to take off, and he's going to watch the newest episode of Rick and Morty. And I do have Netflix, so I'm going to be watching Daredevil Season 2. I still haven't watched it yet. So I'm going to be watching that, and we'll be talking about that with these Too Late for Summer movie spectacular.
All right, and then we're planning on doing like a Defender special, too, soon.
Yeah. We're doing a Defender special soon, too. And we will probably be ripping on how much we think Star Trek Discovery sucks, or if we like it, we'll be saying how good it is. But I think it's gonna suck. So.
Yeah, that's about a month out yet. So
yeah, so I think
the Defenders will be about maybe 2-3 weeks at the most. We want to be able to let everybody see it first before we actually talk about it. But yeah.
So I think that's it. I think we've covered everything.
I think so.
So one more time. This is Rob Robot Shlomo. You are.
Tom Connors, and we got our special guest tonight, Jake.
Again.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be live next time. If not, we'll be live on tape again. So
another train wreck in progress. Thank you very much, everybody, and we will see you next time.
If you like this video, then please hit that subscribe button. Due to recent changes made by YouTube, we also encourage all of our subscribers, both new and old, to please hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button as well, so you will be notified when new videos are uploaded. Be sure to check back for news and analysis of the happenings and corporate politics behind the scenes of your favorite genre movies, as well as explorations of your favorite characters and their backgrounds and context here at Midnight's Edge After Dark.